Hello, I'm Paul Smith, and at the moment I am in Paul Smith and the Intimations, but sometimes I also play in Maximo Park. And I'm going to talk to you today about pretty much my favourite record, which obviously these things always change from day to day and to whoever asks you when you're in a certain mood. But overall, this album, Life Without Buildings, Any Other City, I think it's a spectacular record. It seems to have every emotion in it that I want from a record. Sometimes it's really exuberant, sometimes it's quite sad. There's a slow song called Sorrow on it, and it's heartbreaking. But yeah, I feel like it's a unique combination of different personalities. So you have Sue Tompkins, who's the singer, and she sings like nobody else. She's a kind of performance artist, and she freestyles. I don't think she ever sang the songs the same way twice, and I saw them live actually before they split up. They only made this one record, and she was reading from pieces of paper, and it was slightly different to the record, and the music itself is very melodic, but it's also quite driving and upbeat, and it's just a great combination really. And sometimes I think, music should be lots of different types of moving things forward and being experimental and that sort of thing. But then this is just a band with a voice, a guitarist and a bassist and drums. It's very simple, but to me it seems to encompass the whole world in one whatever it is, 35-minute record. Well, I'd seen quite a few different things in the press about them, and some people said this is unlistenable. The woman is crazy, which obviously starts you thinking, well, there must be something interesting about this. And then other people were saying it was brilliant. And my friend Sarah got one of the first singles on CD, and we listened to it in her bedroom, and I was thinking, I'm not sure about this. And I lent it, and I borrowed it, sorry, she lent me it. Got to get my grammar right. And so I borrowed it, and I couldn't stop listening to it, and gave it back to her, and I was converted. And I think maybe she bought the album and I taped it off her, and it was on my Walkman for such a long time. I was at university at the time, and so I was listening. I think I maybe had Cat Power's Moon Picks on the other side of the tape. There was lots of records that kind of changed my life at that time, I suppose. This being one of them. Smog's Knock Knock as well. Bill Callahan, another great songwriter. But it's funny, I can listen to it at any time. If I'm feeling sad, it'll make me feel uplifted, but also the sadness in the songs is there. But yeah, if I'm feeling excited already, you put it on, it's party time in my head. And it was through Sarah that I really got into it properly. She was kind of like, you've got to give it a go. And when I joined Maximo Park, I think Duncan really loved them as well, our guitar player, and so we bonded over them, and Tom loved it, and they had the records and I just had it on tape. So recently it was reissued for Record Store Day in England, and I got myself my vinyl copy of it. So I was pretty happy. They're kind of quite abstract songs. There are a few moments on it. There's a part of one song where she sings, "Take me to the Kino, take me to Das Kino again," and it was like, what's she talking about? And obviously now I come to Germany and Kino is everywhere, and every time I see a cinema in Germany, I always think of that Life Without Buildings song. There's another song which isn't on this record actually. The B-sides are just as good as the stuff on the record, and there's a song called Daylighting. And when Maximo Park were due to put our last record out, we needed a record company name because we kind of own everything and we license it to the record company for 2 or 3 years or however long. And so our record company is called Daylighting Records after that song, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful song. I think that might be actually where the Kino line comes from that Daylighting thing, which isn't even on the record, so I'm confusing people now if they try and find it in there. But they also did one single that isn't on an album called Love Trinity, which is they did a live album retrospectively, and it's on there as well. And it's again, it shows you where they might have gone. It feels like almost kind of shoegazy and big, whereas this record is tight and compact and concise. Everything is just so with the music, and then she is very free over the top of it. So you have this combination of a very tight band and a singer who's just expressing herself. There's another bit on this record where it's the music is kind of doing a really staccato, and she goes, "For you, sweet thing," and it's just brilliant. I mean, a lot of the things that she says don't make literal sense, but there's a feeling behind them that I get, and people I know who've listened to it, they also get that same feeling of just, it feels right. And there's so many moments on the record where she's singing and I'm not sure what she's talking about, but I feel like I know what the feeling is.
Hi, I'm Ian.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Martin.
And we are the band Churches, and we are here to talk about this album and why we love it so much.
Hello, you're with Jamie and Ed from One Mid Bicycle Club, and we've chosen Talking Heads' Remain in Light as one of our favourite albums.